Hi guys, happy Friday. Welcome back to our channel. And to our new viewers, you're most welcome and hoping you'll have a great time here. So for today's discussion, there's this notion which goes around where if someone is a good Christian, then they probably think or assume that their relationship is going to be good and great, and afterward they also have a successful marriage. And there comes the question: does being a good Christian guarantee a good relationship and afterward a successful marriage? That's our discussion for today. Let's go. In the Christian faith, we know that God blesses, but there's an aspect which we play in maintaining that blessing. Take for instance, if someone receives a car, that car needs to be serviced, needs to be maintained, needs to be regularly checked. If you don't do those things, you find that it gets to break down. Even for something as important as our salvation, you find that God has given the provision of salvation. So the Christian who receives, the person who has received their salvation, is expected to work out their salvation with fear and trembling. Someone needs to ensure they are watchful over their life. If they don't do that, you find that you lose out. So in the same way, we are blessed with relationships. We're in relations with our friends, our colleagues, a couple's relationship, the relationship between the parents and the children. If we don't work on these relationships that we have, they eventually tend to fail, and that's what we're going to focus on. So if we look at Matthew 19 verse 3 and 4, the conversation between Jesus Christ and the Pharisees, let's look at it. Verse 3 says, some Pharisees came and tried to trap him with this question: should a man be allowed to divorce his wife for just any reason? Jesus answered, haven't you read the scriptures? They record that from the beginning God made them male and female. So from the answer of the Lord Jesus Christ, we see something. He said, haven't you read the scriptures? Which calls for, in matters of relationships, we need to be well informed. We need to have read and gained good knowledge. And in my last video, I had emphasized on getting knowledge and how knowledge cures bad information. So in the same way, if we don't have good information, if we have not invested in getting knowledge in how to handle relationships, we find that we are headed to ruin. So one can be a good Christian, they can be serving God well, they can be speaking in other tongues, but if they don't have information on how to handle and maintain relationships, you find that they are headed to ruin. Why is it that children of pastors usually misbehave? While we can blame it on the devil, you find that in most cases, if you try to check up on the relationship between the parents and the children, you find that it's not much. There's this statement that I heard, somehow true. It says a parent is likely to notice weeks pregnancy in a child, but they are unable to identify or notice a child who is depressed. While I'm not really an expert on parent-children relationship, what I can say is parents should learn to create an atmosphere that allows for good communication between them and the children, because we are living at times when we young people, a child is likely to get information from the internet or from their friends than they are to get it from their parents. They are not comfortable to talk to their parents, so you find that they are prone to get wrong information. But if parents can work on an aspect of creating such an atmosphere that will make the child to be comfortable to speak to them, you find that children will be getting authentic information right from their parents, and like getting it from sources which will be a bad influence for them. Yeah, so this also calls for parents being intentional about making their relationship work with their children. So this would be about you spending quality time with your children, because most of the time, say you are. Okay, we're talking about in Christianity, right? So there are some people that are parents that are so committed to church, they're committed to God that they forget their family. Parent is always at church, always spending time, okay, praying. Praying is not bad, it's good. They're always spending time, doing service to God, but neglecting the first ministry that they have, which is their family. Yeah, so for some parents, it's not really church that takes that time, but their work. So their work schedule could be very tight, or they are so hardworking that they spend most of the time at work, and when they come back, they're usually tired. So even that one calls for you to, you know, wake up and make up your mind to spend time with your family, because some people are so busy trying to, ensure that their family is well fed, they are living a good life, but you're not present. Yes, you're providing the money, you're providing the resources they need, but they also need you. So if you're absent, you find that you are not successful. So it will require one to be just intentional, where you just rise up and say, I'm going to make this work, where you devote enough time to your family, because that's your first ministry, by the way. So there are many resources that you can get good information from. I have recommended some books in the comment section, so try to check them out on parents and parent children relationship, how you can make that work. In most cases, you find that the husband and wife relationship majorly does affect their relationship with the child. So your partner comes first, before children, before job, before career. That's it. So the best thing a parent can give or can do for a child is to love their spouse. I hope you got that one. There's a story of a man was going for a walk with his child, and then he asked the child, like, what gift can I give you? So after some thoughtful reflection, the child said, keep loving mom the way you've always loved her. It touched him. He had to reflect on that, and he later came to find out that at the child's school, one of the friends' parents of the son were undergoing a divorce, and the child had noticed how it was affecting the other boy. So he came to appreciate the kind of relationship the mom and dad had. So the way the parents will relate to each other, if they love each other, eventually the child will also be loved. The problem that we have most cases is, if people get married and they have maybe their first child, usually you find that the attention is shifted from their spouse to the child, and that is wrong. It's not okay. Yes, the child needs your attention, but you should not take off your attention from your partner. So the way you love your spouse somehow is a lesson you're giving to your child. In the relationship between a couple, I like what Ken Drunk said. He said, in the 15 years I've been counseling couples, I have found that the happiest and strongest marriages are those in which the spouses are lovers, friends, partners in maintaining a lifestyle. In other words, a balanced marriage undergirded by love is one in which both parties is learned to stop taking each other and their separate identities for granted. So from his statement, you can notice three things that he mentions, and that's a lover, a friend, and a partner. This is not news to every one of us. The person that you select to be your life partner should be a friend to you, and much more, we're encouraged that marry your best friend. So let that person be one that you can interact with on a high level, one that you are free around with. And on the aspect of being lovers, you can learn. Some people say, no, I don't know anything about love, I'm not romantic. You can learn. Talk of the book 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. That's a good resource for a young couple. You find that you get to learn about the love language of your partner, and if you get to communicate to them using their love language, you're sure to hit the right spot. So there are various resources that you can, get good information to be a romantic person to your partner. So it goes back to what I had said. One gets to be intentional about it. One makes the choice to ensure that their relationship works, then it's going to work. Not where you just leave it and you just say, no, I leave it in the hands of God. That one might not be so helpful. But if we believe in God and we're going to carry out the work where we study, we read, we learn, like Jim Rohn says, study, practice, then teach. So in the same way you get to study those things and practice them, then it will be of great help and benefit to you. And in such a way you find that you maintain a very good lifestyle with your partner. No wonder why this marriage counselor had to say that the strongest and happiest marriages. So I'm sure we want our relationships to really end in marriage, and not just any marriage but a successful marriage. So it begins from this stage where you get to learn, you get to empower yourself with this wisdom, then it will benefit and profit you. In talking about being a good Christian, having a successful marriage, I have two people that I'm going to present to you. I don't know if you know them, but I hope you do. If not, try to research them. We have Jonathan Edwards and John Wesley. Jonathan Edwards had a marriage made in heaven. John Wesley had a marriage that was a living hell. Both men were born in 1703. Both men knew the scriptures very well. But when it came to choosing a mate, Edward made the right choice and used wisdom. John Wesley did otherwise, and he had to pay for the consequences of that decision. So John Wesley was a great and godly man of God, and his writings and teachings are still of great importance to the Christian faith. You can look up his writings, the commentaries he's made on the Bible. You find that they are of great value to the Christian faith. But you find that when it came to his relationship and marriage life, he wasn't as good as he was when it came to how he represented God. He loved horse riding, but it's like usually he was riding away from home. He was never at home with his wife. Because just 4 months after he got married to Molly Wesley, he wrote to his brother Charlie saying, marriage is rot. Marriage is rotten. Imagine. There's a time that Molly got sick and John Wesley was in another town. He had to come back hours of riding. Upon reaching home, he found Molly recovering. He again started off and left. You find that they two used to resent each other. There wasn't any peace at all. And you wonder, such a great man of God, powerful writings, powerful sermons, powerful teachings, but yet a failed marriage. So there is no guarantee that if you are really serving God, you're really faithful, and or if you don't do according to his will and you don't follow his guidance and wisdom and counsel and getting yourself acquainted with good information, you find that you're headed to ruin as well. In the case of Jonathan Edwards and Sarah, his wife, let's talk first about Jonathan. Jonathan Edwards was he was also a great and godly man of God, and you find that he really did a good job for God in the United States, and he was probably one of the greatest philosophers and theologians that America had ever produced. He also liked horse riding, and he liked doing it with his wife Sarah. Those two used to spend a lot of time together, and they knew each other like a book. You find that Jonathan and Sarah Edwards used and followed wisdom right from the start of their relationship. They courted for a period of about 4 years, and they got to know each other very well, and they loved spending much time with each other. Even when Edwards was now, going out of town preaching the word, he still used to come back to spend time with his wife. And the two were lovers and friends. and they had about 11 children. One thing I like about the two is that they took time to let their relationship mature, and one gets the sense that they were both seeking the Lord and His wisdom. So if you ignore God's wisdom and leading, you'll be stuck with the consequences of your decision not to seek His best. And if we will neglect getting knowledge and information and wisdom about these things, we're also going to be stuck with decisions that we're going to regret the rest of our lives. If we read the Bible from 1 John chapter 4 verse 7, it says, "Dear friends, let us continue to love one another, for love comes from God. Anyone who loves is a child of God and knows God." Though love is an aspect of the fruit of the Spirit and an evidence of the new birth, it is also something that we are responsible to develop. So this calls for every one of us to be intentional about making our relationships work. We should not take it for granted that just because we're serving God, then all will be well in our relationships. It's high time we started reading books, started listening to sermons. We started attending seminars or conferences where we'll be taught about such. Right now it's easy to access such information. So better right now, when you are not in need of them, you read them so that you have information and knowledge. When the right time comes to apply them, it will be easier for you, or you'll be able to notice the red flags earlier so that it's prevented. We always say prevention is better than cure, isn't it? So better before a problem becomes serious, we already kept the situation. Think of a situation where you visit a marriage counselor because you now have a problem in your marriage, and they tell you, read this book. You're going to read that book. You won't read it, with the that patience. You'll be trying to look for a solution right there and then, which might not work in your best interest. But right now, especially for the single people out there, and even for those who are in marriage, before the problems begin, let's learn. Let's develop an interest in learning together with our spouse. For the single people right now, you can also just venture into personal development so that we'll be people that will be ready, well able to face problems and challenges that come our way. If you take in information into your heart when you don't need it, it one day come out of your mouth the day that you need it. Hi guys, thank you so much for taking your time to view this video. I'll be looking forward to hear from you what you think about what has been said. To those who haven't subscribed, please get to subscribe to the channel and get to share this link to others that you feel would benefit to hear the teaching that we had to share. So see you next Friday guys. Bye.